1 year ago today, the shocker that changed the world. No matter who you voted for on November 8th, 2016, you probably remember how you felt when you saw this. President Trump.
It is time for us to come together as one united people.
1 year later, is he living up to the promise to make America great again? And what about those other campaign promises? Really, the only person who can answer that question is you. The storm has passed, but we're still answering your Hurricane Irma related questions and verifying some promises making the rounds on social media. A cancer study shows some startling statistics, saying half of all Canadians will get cancer. And those numbers could be coming to the United States. It's just shocking. This video is from Salt Lake City, Utah. It's got a lot of people fired up around the country. Here's what happened. The police officer wanted that nurse to draw blood from a patient who was unconscious without a warrant. And Alex, it really is amazing when you look at it because you see the nurse refusing over and over again to do so.
Yeah, her name is Alex Wubble. She is the head nurse of the burn unit at the University of Utah Hospital.
Boy, there is nothing worse than walking out, seeing your car is gone, looking around like, wait, did I park here? And then realizing, oh wait, it's been towed. Sometimes it's your fault, I've been there, but even if it was, there are laws to make sure you're not getting ripped off. Unfortunately, the laws aren't always enough. 10 Investigates Noah Pransky has been on a mission for years to protect you from predatory towing and joins us live now to tell us he's still fighting and getting more refunds for you.
You come out, you find the empty parking spot, a towing company essentially holding your vehicle for a ransom.
Thanks for joining us on Nightside this Monday night, the first day back for a lot of people, getting back to normal after Hurricane Irma.
Thankfully.
We're so glad to have you. I'm Carolina Lee.
And I'm Katie McCall. Most kids are back in school or getting ready to head back tomorrow. Little by little, the power is coming back on.
But we know you still have a lot of questions about recovering from Irma, especially with some misleading information floating around on social media.
Yeah, so the 10 News Hurricane Help Hub.
Alex and Katie, it's interesting how fast that information floats around social media. FPL is now facing a class action lawsuit over Hurricane Irma power outages. It was filed on behalf of two people who live in Miami-Dade County and still don't have power. The lawsuit claims FPL breached contracts with customers by collecting a storm fee, but not adequately preparing for the inevitable hurricane power outages. So, for example, lawyers want to know why the company didn't work harder to bury more power lines in the 12 years since Hurricane Wilma. But FPL says it spent more than $3 billion strengthening the power grid and was able to restore power to customers 4 times faster than it did after Wilma. Now a court will decide whether the company can be held responsible. And parts of the Caribbean that haven't even begun to recover from Hurricane Irma are under storm warnings for Maria. People are being evacuated from St. Thomas ahead of the Category 5 storm, but some people are staying there. Puerto Rico's government has started rationing basic supplies like water, canned food, batteries, and flashlights. A direct hit could cut power to Puerto Rico for weeks. Alex, trapped in her own yard, a Pinellas County grandmother hasn't been able to leave her home ever since Hurricane Irma blew down a huge tree in her front yard, blocking the only opening in the fence around that home. Nancy Settle says neighbors, they've been stopping by offering to remove that tree, but they can't. They realize the tree is resting on and is entangled in live power lines.
I'm stuck. I've been here since Saturday.
What's it like with your grandma not being able to leave the house?
It's kind of frustrating and sad. It's just kind of heartbreaking that she can't get out.
What a cutie. Listen to this. Those grandkids have been jumping over the fence to bring grandma back food from the grocery store. Good news tonight, though. 10 News contacted Pinellas County Emergency Services, who came out to check on the family. Fire crews used chainsaws to clear a path to the family's fence, and Duke Energy is due back out tomorrow to remove the rest of the tree so they can get in and out safely without worrying about the power line overhead. There is another push to repeal and replace the Affordable Care Act, also known as Obamacare, in the Senate. The bill will need support from 50 of the 52 Republican senators to pass. The deadline is September 30th. that's when special procedure rules expire. And any healthcare reform would need 60 votes to pass, which is impossible without support from Democrats. The Congressional Budget Office announced this afternoon it won't be able to score the new reform bill by that deadline. The CBO score is what a lot of lawmakers use to determine how it will impact voters in their state. All eyes are on 3 Republican senators, John McCain from Arizona, Susan Collins from Maine, and Lisa Murkowski from Alaska. So far, they're undecided, but their no votes killed the last Republican plan to repeal and replace Obamacare. Most of our area was once again spared by major hurricane destruction. Guys, listen to this. That's why you listen to history. Some Floridians believe the sacred Tocobaga Indians had something to do with it.
Lots of them do.
Yep. We sent Nightside reporter Stephanie Ramirez to investigate. The creator of the Broadway hit Hamilton, Lin-Manuel Miranda, is in Puerto Rico right now helping communities recover. Today, he met with students at the University of Puerto Rico. Miranda has set up a partnership with a nonprofit group for a $2.5 million recovery fund. Manuel Miranda revealed another really cool surprise, and of course, people are really excited about it. But look, it's not going to happen really anytime soon, but people are already talking about this.
Yep.
And Alex, as you know, we both lived in New York recently. Getting your hands on Hamilton tickets is really difficult, and he's bringing it to Puerto Rico.
Yeah, close to impossible. I still haven't seen the show.
It is eerily dark and very quiet. People, of course, are afraid to leave their homes because there is a killer on the loose. But let me get you right to the very latest in this investigation. A 4th person was found dead early this morning. Police say his murder is related to 3 more from back in October. SWAT teams have been going door to door in the neighborhood looking for the person who did this. This time, police say they have a description of the suspect, a thin black male dressing in all black with a black baseball cap. Police were on the scene just moments after the shooting, but didn't find anything. They say 60-year-old Ronald Felton was crossing the street to meet someone when he was killed. His sister says he was working at a food bank when he left. And then she told us she wants everyone to know why it's so important that his killer is caught. And joining me now is Nightside reporter Sarah Rosario. You have been in this community talking to people, and they are understandably very afraid of what's going on.
Yeah, that's right, Catalina. Talking to people, fear is permeating this community. That shooting happening just right here at this intersection behind us.
We talked to the Guardian Angels not too long ago. They have been in this neighborhood every single day for 3 weeks. I'm joined now by Ron Smith, but I know you as Jaws. Tell me what you've been doing tonight in the neighborhood, helping people get home safely.
Well, we've been here since 5 o'clock, and a lot of people are getting off of work at different times. And
Kenneth Craig is live in Miami tonight, where much like the Bay Area, people are on edge watching Irma creep even closer. So Kenneth, looking at this storm, we know that this is bigger and worse than what we saw with Andrew 25 years ago. So are people there taking this seriously?
Yeah, it sure is a lot bigger than Hurricane Andrew, and I can tell you a lot of people here have that in the back of their mind.
But first tonight, a major shock to our community after Major League Baseball star Roy Halladay was killed in a plane crash. He was the only one on board a small plane that went down in the Gulf of Mexico today near Holiday. The former Phillies pitcher was a big part of the Pasco County community. You could see how much he meant to the sheriff and his deputies.
He was a part of our sheriff's office. His kids went to school with some of our kids. He was there whenever we needed him. He was probably one of the most humble human beings you'll ever meet. For somebody who won 2 Cy Youngs, as I said, one of the greatest pitchers in baseball, he would walk in a room as if he was just anybody.
Mayday calls were made to air traffic controllers before he crashed. Halladay was 40 years old. In a short amount of years, Halladay made a major impact on kids across our area. Nightside reporter Sarah Rosario is live near where the plane went down. And Sarah, he was not just a coach, he was also a mentor.
Yeah, that's right, Catalina. We are here along the bay.
Right now, Pasco deputies need your help finding the guys you see in these pictures. They say the 2 men shot and killed a man in the middle of a busy road and then took off. It all went down around 5 o'clock this evening. at the State Road 54 exit ramp off of the Suncoast Parkway in Odessa. Detectives say the guys pulled up next to a man in a truck and killed him. Nightside's Grady Trimble is live near where it happened. And Grady, police are talking about the fact that there were a lot of cars around at the time and that it is fortunate that no one else was hurt.
Yeah, Carolina, a lot of families drive through this area every single day.
2 weeks before Christmas, and Tampa families are left in the cold after a fire tore through their homes. Everyone made it out alive and safe, but now they are taking stock of what they have left and relying on their friends, their family, and the Red Cross for help tonight. So here's what we know. The fire broke out this afternoon at Brookshire Townhomes on Sly Avenue. Residents tell us it spread to 8 homes in just a few minutes. The cause is still under investigation. All right, so Noah, what is it that viewers can do if they believe they are being ripped off? Or
if you've been ripped off by any company, we want to hear from you.
We're also learning more about how the shooting unfolded. Investigators say Kelly shot 2 people outside the First Baptist Church of Sutherland Springs. Then he went inside, shooting dozens more. After he left, a neighbor confronted and shot him. That neighbor jumped in a stranger's truck and they chased Kelly.
He just shot at the church and said, "We have to get him." I said, "Let's go," and that's what we did. I did what I did because it was the right thing to do. I hope that the families and everyone affected this community, I hope they're able to sleep a little better at night knowing that this man is dead.
And that car chase ended when Kelly ran off the road and crashed. He was found dead inside his car, possibly from a self-inflicted gunshot. When we talked to you about this on Facebook Live, a few of you brought up mental illness and the connection to recent mass shootings. But we did some digging here and found some surprising numbers from the National Institutes of Health. Just 4% of all violent acts are committed by someone with a serious mental illness. And it is believed less than a quarter of modern mass shooters have had a diagnosed mental illness. So according to the National Alliance on Mental Illness, 1 in 5 Americans experiences a mental illness. That's close to 44 million people. Bottom line here, it's not safe to assume that all mass shooters have a mental illness any more than it is to assume all people with a mental illness will commit a violent act. And Alex, Florida State is at least a 3rd university this year to suspend Greek life because of tragedies. In February, the hazing death of 19-year-old Timothy Piazza led Penn State to suspend fraternities and sororities from having social activities for a semester. Louisiana State University had a 1-month suspension and continues to ban alcohol at Greek parties after the hazing death of 18-year-old Maxwell Groover in September. Here in our area, USF is taking hazing seriously. In fact, it is anti-hazing week on campus. Nightside reporter Bo Zimmer is live at USF. It can be hard to wrap your head around the damage done by Hurricane Harvey, especially the flooding that we're seeing in Texas. These images can help us out. This is Wharton, Texas, about an hour southwest of Houston. This is what it looked like on October 9th, 2016. Then you take a look at this. That's 2 days ago. All right, and this is the Colorado River, but you can't tell where the river ends and what's supposed to be land here because of that. Now, take a look at this. This is Simonton, about 35 miles from Houston. And this is what it usually looks like. You can see that there are homes here. You can see the roofs. You can see the streets of this neighborhood. But then you take a look at this 2 days ago, and you can see just a few roofs here, but the streets are gone. It's been almost 4 months since that massive sinkhole that we see right here opened up in Land O'Lakes. And the video is really hard to see. I mean, we cannot forget that video.
Yeah, absolutely.
2 homes were destroyed, 8 others have been condemned, and they are just unlivable.
Yeah, and this sinkhole today actually looks almost exactly the same. Not as much debris, but not much has changed. And the county wants people to know that they are not forgotten.
Here are some stories you need to know tonight. Students were evacuated from High Point Elementary School in Largo this afternoon after a student was burned. A witness told 10 News the 8-year-old student was burned between the waist and shoulder. A neighbor gave us this video of the child being loaded into a helicopter on its way to Tampa General. School officials say the campus was evacuated as a precaution. An inmate was executed tonight for killing 2 men in Tampa back in 1991. A jury found Patrick Hannon cut the throat of one man following a disagreement, then shot and killed the victim's roommate at a home near USF. Hannon's lawyers petitioned the Supreme Court to block his execution, but the court denied them. He's the third inmate to be executed since executions resumed following changes to the state's death penalty sentencing law. The government is tightening restrictions for traveling to Cuba. Now, American tourists will be able to do business with certain hotels, shops, and tour groups that are run by the Cuban government. It will also be harder to travel to Cuba alone because the new rules say Americans must travel with groups approved by the Treasury Department.